Rotary Willys update time. It's alive, it's running. You're long overdue for an update, so let's go. The engine bay is pretty much where it's gonna be. I still have wiring to tidy up, but everything is wired and completed. Got the radiator fans in, had this thing running and driving around the yard, so stay tuned for that video. But today I have to address a few small issues and get some things buttoned up before we really hit the road. The two last things on my list, I think last time we left, were the throttle cable. So I made this aluminum bracket and got the throttle cable hooked up to the pedal inside, and the other thing was radiator fans. So they are wired and programmed. They're being controlled by the ECU in the fuel injection system, which is super handy. On the inside, it's kind of hard to see, but there's the accelerator pedal. So it is a modified RX-7 pedal. I'm pretty happy with how it fit and the location. I get full travel on the throttle body, and it's pretty comfortable. It's very close to the original location of the accelerator pedal. I ran it for a while yesterday, got up to temp and drove around the yard a little bit, and the first few issues started to make themselves known. Nothing major, but something I'm going to have to address. The water pump started leaking out of the weep hole on the bottom, and it seems to come and go as I was driving it. I don't know the history of this engine or how long that water pump's been on there. So I have a new water pump coming. Hopefully it'll get here today, and can change that out, reseal the water pump housing, and have a new thermostat and gasket to put in it. And then hopefully that takes care of the leaks, and then I'll know the history on that stuff. One of the other issues is also coolant related, and it's with the radiator. This radiator was damaged when I got it, and I contacted the company. They sent me a new one and said just keep this one. So I thought I'll use that as my mock-up, because you saw me, I had to cut and weld some stuff on it, and I didn't want to do that to the good radiator. And then I was hoping this one would be fine, but it steams when you're running it because the area that was damaged in shipping has a leak. So I don't know if you can see. Let me bring the light over here. That very last rib is bent in. This was bent and pushed into that. I straightened this out, but that must have damaged something inside there. It doesn't spray or anything, it just steams, and then when you shut it off, there's a little bit of coolant that sits down here and runs over here and drips. So not a huge deal. We'll pull it out. It'll be a good time to do the water pump. That'll give me lots of room. I made my fans so they plug in instead of soldering them in, because I knew I might have to pull the radiator out at one point. Here's the new radiator the company sent me. Same exact radiator, but not smashed. So hopefully this one doesn't leak. This one looks good. You never know with the Z-Bay parts, but at least it's not smashed like the other one. And when this one's out, maybe I'll see if it's something I can fix or not. So that's where we're at. Let's get started. I'll kind of bring you along with me on today's projects. Nothing major, but it's kind of just another day for me. But before we do that, do you want to hear this thing run? Let's fire it up. Only for a second though, because it's cold out. I got the doors shut. Are you ready for some internet history to be made? So there you have it. You just saw the first four-wheel drive, basically stock, 13B powered Ford GPW YouTube history. I don't think that's ever been done. If it has, tag me. But let me know what you think. Did you hear that exhaust? This thing sounds good. Enough fooling around. That's the fun part. this kind of stuff, I don't like taking stuff apart and fixing stuff after it's been put together, but to drive this thing and use it properly, we can't have coolant leaks. So let's do it. The radiator is all prepped, so I'll show you some of the things I have to do to it. It has this little breather. I think it's just a vent to let air out when you're purging the system. It's a really chintzy little plug. The O-ring smushes out when you try to tighten it, and it just sticks up too high. So taking that off, made a little aluminum plug, and I'm gonna weld that in place right there. One of the other things is where this arrow is, I have a little holder for the grill support rod. Goes back to the firewall right there. I had to cut off on the front side. There's a bracket like this on both sides. That's how it mounted in the car originally. This is a replacement RX-7 radiator. Then down at the bottom, this had a 90 with a heater hose outlet. I got rid of that, and I'll be welding this straight back on there because my engine's so tight to here, there's not room for a big turned elbow like it was on there. So just welding that on there, and then the heater hose was originally plumbed in kind of like a T right on this little nipple there, and so I just drilled the lower tank, and I'm going to weld this piece in just like that. That's it. Then it's a direct bolt in for a 4 GPW. Who knew, right? So simple. I'm going to weld this, and I'll check back in with you when it's done. Radiator is done, so I have my lower mounts welded in, got the plug welded in, and the little prop rod thing. So this radiator is ready to go. Other than that, the front I don't do anything to other than I'll paint it and get it ready to put the fans in. So now I got to disassemble everything I just put together. I'm not going to even start until my parts get here because I can still drive it the way it is. It just has a little weeping coolant leak. And if for some reason Rock Auto doesn't pull through and my parts don't get here, I don't want to be, you know, I want to be able to play with this thing. So stay tuned. Tear this thing apart as soon as parts get here. I got a little helper here today. She's going to help me bleed the brakes. Are you ready?
Yes.
You know what you're doing?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Alright, how was it?
It was just normal.
Piece of cake, just another day.
Yeah.
Crocs are the best for bleeding brakes, aren't they?
Obvi.
Well, thanks for your help.
Yeah, sure.
You gonna drive this soon?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I just drove the tractor, so.
Give it a honk. Nice. Thanks for your help.
I love that.
Good. See you later.
Bye.
Radiator's all painted up. So I paint it in 3 different colors. All the colors that are on the Jeep, so as stones hit it and antifreeze leaks and it wears off, it'll start to show through and kind of look like this mess. That's the plan anyway. So that's it for today. I'm waiting on parts for the water pump. As soon as they get here, get that water pump in and do some driving videos. Thanks for watching, and catch you later.